The Republican National Committee is still steaming over the darkly and unintentionally hysterical CNBC debate from last week. And of course, everyone has an idea on how to change the format and make it really work. The easy solution to some would be cancel the debates entirely, as they're not doing anybody a bit of good. Then again, how about a little back in time thinking, maybe to settle it all? Just one of the issues on the docket with the veteran political commentator and co-author of the book Power Grab, Obama's Dangerous Plan for a One-Party Nation, Dick Morris. Dick, welcome in. And in your new column, you say, and here's the headline, bring back Lincoln-Douglas style debates. It's a great idea, Dick, but in this day of 24/7, 365 media, do debates really make any difference whatsoever anyway to the general public?
Oh, sure they do, Ed. They're fundamental to the process. In fact, you could regard the debates as being the pre-Iowa primary, taken collectively. And I think they're absolutely essential for us to learn who these candidates are. But I think what's not essential is the media's presence. You know, Lincoln and Douglas didn't have the media asking them questions. They just got up and spoke, and then after the two of them spoke, they spoke again, and then they spoke again. I think that what we ought to do is have debates with no media present, no questions asked. The 10 candidates stand up there, although hopefully it'll be down to 7 or so. And each one gives a 2-minute answer. And then you give another, then you start back at the beginning again, and each one gives a 2-minute answer. And over an hour and over 2 hours, you'd have 6 speeches totaling 12 minutes by each candidate. And let the candidate raise what he or she wants, whatever they think are the major issues, whatever they think are the major points of difference, and don't let the media run the debate.
But how do we get away? And I think you're right with the media here, too, because let's face it, the media takes these and they make ratings points out of this, is what they do. The RNC everybody gets ratings points out of this, and everybody wants to be a star when they get up there. But here's the next thing, Dick. Even if you have somebody sitting there talking for 2 minutes, how do you keep them from the incessantly stupid sniping that goes on between everybody and just get down to the issues themselves?
If they don't satisfy what the public wants, they'll lose the election. They'll lose standing in the polls. Let the competitive realities of politics bring out from each candidate what the voters need to hear. And if the voters don't get it, they'll punish that candidate. And you don't need network sponsorship. You could run a debate in the middle of the street and C-SPAN would cover it. And we all wouldn't be tuned to, Fox News or one of those stations. We'd go to C-SPAN and watch it with no ads, and nobody makes money off it.
Wait a minute. I got a better idea. How about like Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park? Let's have the public debate.
But I think the point here is that you don't need the media to do this. You don't need their questions. You don't need any questions. If the candidate repeatedly talks about stuff the voters don't care about, they're not going to vote for him. He'll fall in the polls, and he'll either drop out or do better next time. Let the competitive realities of the give and take of politics assure as high quality a debate as we can. And let's take the media and the reporters and the network coverage and the ads out of it.
Let's go ahead and talk about then a political side of Jeb Bush, because now he is relaunching his campaign again, and this time he's doing it with an e-book called Reply All. It is self-selected emails he sent and received as Florida governor from 1999 to 2007. Look, Dick, no disrespect meant towards Governor Bush at this point, but who is advising him? Because these emails are nothing new, and this would seem to be just nothing more than paddling in the water, not really getting anything substantive out there.
What's this? You now get points for not betraying national security in emails? Look, it is very hard for a candidate to gain ground he once lost, particularly in a 16-way field. Bush was at about 18% of the vote. Now he's at about 5%. That means 13% of the electorate once voted for him and then turned off him. To get them to turn back on, usually the only way to do that is to attack the opponent. And then they come back to you and figure, well, you're probably better than the other guy. But in a 16-way field, you can't do that. They'll always find one of the other 15 to vote for. So it is very, very hard for a candidate to come back from having lost that vote share. That's Bush's problem. That's Carly Fiorina's problem.
Is this not just a mistake by Jeb Bush and his campaign?
You mean the thing he's putting out now?
This thing he's putting out now, this reply all, it means nothing in the overall sense.
It's ridiculous. And his other ad about how he's going to go out and fix everything. I think that the point is that that he doesn't measure up to his own advertising. You look at the ad, you look at the resume, you're very impressed. Then you look at the candidate and you stop being very impressed.
All right, 60 seconds left here. You mentioned, of course, emails and, state secrets as well. State Department has recently released more than 7,000 pages of Hillary Clinton's emails. Another email dump, if you will. Anything new, anything exciting to look at here?
Well, to me, what's exciting about it is the same thing that's been in the others. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of emails that contain material that the State Department now says is classified and now will not release and redact, that Hillary had in plain view on her unsecured server, sending and receiving it and storing it. Now, Hillary's excuse, as always, is the technical one. I did not have sexual relations with that woman kind of excuse. The answer, she says, is they weren't classified at the time. Well, who was in charge of classifying them at the time? She was. So just because she didn't label it classified doesn't mean that it wasn't classified. And when the State Department now looks at it, they say, oh, it should have been classified. Well, it seems to me that that should land her in the dock to face the same kind of felony charges that Deutsch and Petraeus.
There we have. That's going to have to wait for another time here. Want to remind everybody once again, the book, Power Grab, Obama's Dangerous Plan for a One-Party Nation. Go to powergrab411.com and get your copy of the book now. Dick Morris, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us. Next up, then there was one presidential candidate who admits to an error on the hard line.